what am I doing here? My mom asked me to say something today, and so I thought, well, what the heck do you say about Youngkins? First I thought I should review his life, talk about all the tragedies and successes, but I thought to myself, people that are going to be in this church have probably heard all of those stories, probably from the source, over and over and over again. So there's really no need to review, Grammy almost died when she got hit by a car accident, and his dad left 18 months, and the flood and the fire and all that stuff is, no need to talk about that. So he'd really like to talk about his history. Actually, on one of the doctor's visits that I took him to recently, the nurse was trying to get the health history, and he literally started with, well, it started in 1976. What? Can you imagine when they had to schedule an appointment for him? They usually schedule for every 5 minutes. It's probably oh God, Youngkins is coming in, block off an hour and a half, Then I thought I should talk about how much he loved me and what a great dad he was. And there again, I figured if you guys are here, I'm sure you've already heard about that too. Every chance he got, he would tell someone what a superhero I was. Literally everyone. I would take him to the doctor, and again, the nurses would be trying to ask him his health history, and he would go off on this tangent, This is my daughter, and she's a genius. Genius is the word you use. So for me, right? Not him, me. She graduated from Penn State. She works for a company that makes software, and she does conference calls at 10 o'clock at night. On our last trip to the oncologist, right, he was raving about me to the front desk staff. And the 3 women at the front desk started to say, "Oh, your dad loves you so much." And I said, "Yes, I know. I love him too. Thank you." So what's left? Well, everybody loved my dad. Why? Not just love my dad, but really love my dad. And for many of you, it isn't just admiration, it's gratitude. He was in a position that allowed him to give other people the opportunity to succeed. And he gave that opportunity to just about anybody that wanted it. He accepted everybody. It's like Father Murphy said. He really accepted everybody. He was a very smart college graduate. He was a powerful executive leader, a wealthy man, but it didn't matter to him who you were. He had friends that fit into a rainbow of different categories. Friends that made us question, where did you find these friends from? He had remember Eddie? Eddie was a really simple, sweet guy that he met at AA. And Eddie would make up simple jokes like, what do you get when you put a Youngkin in the dryer?
A shrunken Youngkin.
And then there was that guy, his place got infested with bed bugs. I won't mention any names, but dude's apartment totally infested with bed bugs. It didn't faze Dad at all, but Mom was like, "New rule, none of your friends are ever allowed in this house again." And that reminds me of Ross. You remember Ross? Ross, he would come over every, it was Thursday night and watch Kung Fu. Remember when I was little? And Ross had a landscaping business, and so he smelled of gasoline and other earthy odors. And so Mom tried to implement a bunch of different rules. First it was, okay, Ross, you're not allowed in unless you take your shoes off. Then it was, all right, you're not allowed to come in unless, you could come in, but you can't sit on the upholstered furniture. And then finally, Ross just wasn't allowed in until he went home and took a shower. But back to my point, I think one of the greatest attributes was his ability to warmly accept people. And he was so open about himself. He readily shared the details of his life. And that made people feel like he trusted them and like he valued them enough to share those details. Now, granted, right, it may have been motivated a little bit by narcissism. After all, he was Youngkins. He had this way of being overly proud and sort of announcing who he was. Time and time again, I heard him say, "I'm Youngkins, and I ran a division of a book manufacturing company. Me and my wife just moved out of our 10,000 square foot house, blah, blah, blah." This kind of announcement could come at any time, like he would call the pharmacy, right? It didn't start with, "Hi, I need a refill." It would be, "I'm Youngkins, and I had lymphoma back in 2017. As this family, we found those kinds of things a little bit embarrassing, right? My mom just shared a story with me. They moved into Luther Crest, and he didn't like the food, no wonder. And they went to a meeting that was supposed to discuss the quality of the food. And so he raised his hand and stood up and tap, tap, tap on the microphone, you know, and he said, "I'm Youngkins, and there was a bug in my room the size of a jetliner." She said, "I started to pray that the floor would open up and just swallow me." There was a lot of embarrassing things. It wasn't just what he said, it was, some of the stuff was like choices that he made. Like he had this Cadillac with a gold grill, and his initials were painted on the doors. And if that wasn't bad enough, he had a hitch put on it so he could take this landscaping trailer around. It was the craziest thing. And then when he dressed, he would put the Eagles hat on his head, but he wouldn't actually pull it down. It didn't serve a purpose. It just sat there on the top. And we go to the beach, right? The shorts and the black socks with the businessman shoes. I cannot count the number of times I thought, "Oh my God, what is wrong with this man? He is not normal. My friends' dads don't act like this. Well, why is he so weird? If I didn't look like him so much, I would swear there's no way that I could be related to him." Then one day, I was at Kohl's, and I saw this little sign here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, "I love that you're my dad." And I thought to myself, do I love that he's my dad? I mean, I love him. Everybody knows how much I love him, right? But do I love that he's my dad? And I started like running down this list of people in my mind. You know, would I want that person for a father? No. That person? No. And I came to this conclusion that he may be crazy, he may drive me crazy, but he makes my life so much more interesting than any other regular old dad. He makes me laugh. He gives me bizarre stories to tell, not to mention the fact that he loves me more than life itself. And that brings me back to acceptance. The biggest lesson that we can learn from a guy who is literally larger than life is to accept. Drop your judgments. Stop looking for the bad in people and open your heart. Make an assumption that everybody is your friend. The cashier at the grocery store, the pharmacist, the computer support guy, your priest, your doctor. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Tell everyone how much you love the people in your life, and everyone will love you back. Thanks for being here.